Hey folks, Todd Coburn here with your Finding Your Way series. This little video is on public accolades and how they relate to actual greatness. In order to kind of drive this point home, I'd like to share a little story from my career. Early in my career, I became the acting lead for the nose of the MD-11. And in that role, I got to make the fine element model, and we were analyzing the floor structure in the cockpit for each customer configuration, Swissair, American, all of them. And for many of those cases, me and my buddy who were working this found that the 9G forward emergency landing condition was the critical condition. So a lot of the analyses, while we would look at the 6G down and 9G forward and all the various conditions, we ended up, after a while, we were focused on that 9G case because it was always critical. And we would say that and we would do our analysis. I did this for a year or more. And then I moved on into other responsibilities for the group. And another guy of the same name took over that part of the work in evaluating each customer's floor condition before we would launch that customer. And sometime later, he'd been doing this for a while, he came to my desk in a panic. He said, "Coburn," he goes, "we were analyzing the floor. We've been analyzing the floor for 9G emergency landing, as you did, because it's always critical. And then we looked back and we found that actually for one customer, the 6G down was more critical. And then we went and looked at some past analysis and we found out that another one that you did was actually 6G down critical." He goes, "There is no possible way, this plane delivers next week. There is no way I can redo the analysis in time to support that delivery. Can you help us?" I said, "Sure, piece of cake." I'd got this process down to a science. So I sat down, got the analysis, ground that puppy out. Sure enough, 6G down was critical, and I easily showed that everything was acceptable for the 6G case in a day or two. After I was done, this guy who had taken over the stuff and who had come to me for help went around the group singing my praise. He told everybody what a super amazing person I was, how amazing I was, how I saved the program. Of course, my prestige went up even a little bit higher, but I'm sitting there chuckling thinking, oh my gosh, they're calling me Superman. I'm actually Schmuckman. It was actually my mistake that caused this problem, and I'm getting accolades for fixing my own problem. Amazing. Pretty cool, though. A couple years later, I'm working a program lead on the Delta program, and I'm working away, checking some work. We had a mission analysis for one of our customers before that rocket went out the door. And I was reviewing some analysis by one of our junior analysts. I found a rather embarrassing, gross miscalculation of a simple axial stress. And so I'm actually pretty good at figuring out if something is good, finding an acceptable path to show it good. So I started working, and nope, that didn't work. And I did it another way, and that didn't work. I did it another way, and that didn't work. And I'm going, oh my gosh. I tried it another way, that didn't work. Then I got really fancy, and that didn't work. Wow, I was worried. I spent another day or so on it. Could not find a way to show that good. It was not good. If it were, I would have found it. So I started brainstorming, grabbed our designer, said, hey, look, what if we do this? Can we do this? Actually, it was an antenna, and we needed to pull that antenna down tighter, get a little more preload so it didn't come off and pop around. I said, can we do? And I came up with a little clever fix, and which was like a negligible change. He goes, oh yeah, that's a piece of cake. We can do that. So we implemented that change. I said, how quick can you do it? And he could do it in like a day or something. No big deal. So then a day or so later, I'm sitting at the mission review, and they never do this, but I'm sitting there to support the review, and one of the project manager turns and he goes, hey, and all the strength analysis is done and everything's good, right? And he goes, Coburn. And I said, yeah, actually, we ended up having to make a little change, but it's minor. We got it under control, no problem. and his face fell. He was visibly shaken, and he was upset. He immediately sicked my manager on me to go figure out what I did wrong and why didn't notify everybody, and what am I doing as if I had hamstrung the program by my incompetence or something. I was rather disgusted sitting there explaining to my manager a rather easy, obvious conclusion that this part was not good, and I actually saved the program with my clever work, and if I had been able to show it good, I would have been able to do that. Finally, they all agreed. They made the change. We moved forward. It didn't affect the launch at all. But I could feel in a few people's eyes my prestige had dropped, like I was now an enemy of the program or something in these people's eyes. And I kind of was a little bit disgusted. Here I did magic for the program, coming up with an amazingly simple fix for something that someone else did, and I ended up kind of with a little bit of egg on my face. And then I sat back and I chuckled, because I thought, there have been times when I was Schmuck Man and everybody said I was Superman. And now I'm Superman and they all think some people think I'm Schmuck Man. So what do you really do with your career? Well, it's pretty awesome when everybody thinks you're wonderful. It feels pretty good. However, when they think we're wonderful and we ain't, we know better and we have a little bit of a guilty conscience. When they think we're schmuck and we aren't, when we're something else, amazing, it kind of is a bit frustrating. But what's really important is not the public accolades. Those are kind of a gift from God. What is important is that you go out there and you be amazing. You accept your mistakes. You work hard to help the company. You never cut corners on doing what's right and communicating clearly and openly and honestly about that. And let the public accolades, whether they're positive or negative, just leave those in the lap of God. And when the accolades come and everybody's happy with your work, thank God for his grace sprinkling that public favor on you. And when the accolades go bad because you didn't follow some bad direction from a manager or because they didn't actually understand what amazingness you did or something, big deal. Just strap down, do your job, and it feels good to be great. It feels great to be great and have people notice, but regardless, it feels good to be great and to do the right thing. So public accolades, while they often follow greatness of some kinds, they often don't. So what we need to do with our careers, a good engineer focuses on actually being great and lets the chips fall. Go out there and be great, stand your ground, do what's right, and enjoy the journey. Hasta luego.